What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JBsports back again with another one. First of all, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And salute to one of the greatest rappers of all time, Tupac Shakur, who would have been 50 years old this past Wednesday, June 16th. As I seen a lot of videos about Tupac Shakur that was coming out on YouTube. And man, there's a couple of them, man, was really interesting about his personal life, who he dated, who he's involved with, man. Some people I didn't even know anything about, man. They said he was involved, got with Karen Parsons. Remember Hillary from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? They say he was involved with her. They hooked up a time or two. I was surprised about that, man. And they say he also was messing around with Mary J. Blige when she was involved with KC from Jodeci. That was very interesting. I didn't know all this stuff was going on during that time. I was following Tupac back then, but I basically following his rap career, man. But and stuff that was going on as far as him getting shot outside studios, I was keeping up with that and the beef he had going on with the Notorious B.I.G. But they did some videos about him, man, his involvement with different celebrities, man, and I didn't even know nothing about it, man, what was going on. That boy Tupac was involved with men and women. But that's neither here nor there, man. We're going to talk a little boxing. Last night, H-Town was this location. Toyota Center was the venue. As Jermall Charlo successfully, as I butcher that word, successfully defended his WBC middleweight title with a 12-round unanimous decision over Juan Montiel in an entertaining fight, man. Montiel brought it. He took a lot of punches, man. That guy showed a lot of heart, man. That fight reminded me of Rocky. When Rocky was getting beat from pillar to post, but he kept coming after Apollo Creed. Apollo Creed could not knock him out. Dropped him real bad in the 14th round of that fight. And even his own trainer told Rocky to stay down. Rocky was blind in both eyes, but Rocky refused to do that, got up, and was able to basically break Apollo Creed's ribs in the 15th round and lose a very competitive split decision loss to the champion Apollo Creed. That's how that movie went down in Rocky. This fight reminded me of that to a certain degree, as Montiel took a lot of punishment, but he kept coming forward, man. And I know I can look on the expression of Jermall Charlo's face when he was throwing a punch, and he was looking at Montiel. He's like, man, why is you still here? I done hit you with everything and the kitchen sink. They say I hit you with everything but the kitchen sink. Scratch that. He hit him with everything and the kitchen sink. And that guy still did not go nowhere. He still kept coming forward. He was catching Charlo with some sneaky left hands. Now, you can make a strong argument. I ain't going to say a strong argument, but you can make an argument that fight should have been stopped in the 6th round, as Charlo landed 36 consecutive punches. And Montiel didn't throw any punches back during that time frame, during those punches. He did not respond at all. Didn't throw no punches back. And the referee let the fight continue. I looked at one of my friends as we was watching the fight at the sports bar. I was like, man, they could stop this fight right now, man. He's not throwing no punches back. And the referee was getting a real good look at it, man, but he let it continue. And I'm glad he did, man, because Montiel was able to show a lot of heart, man. That was one of the most entertaining fights I've seen this year, man. Great matchup, man. Great fight. And, I went into this matchup thinking like, okay, Charlo gonna stop this boy in the first half of this fight. And I almost came to fruition in the 6th round again. But give him credit for surviving that onslaught and continuing to press forward. And again, he was able to, he was one of them guys who were very awkward, man. You would think he was throwing punches from weird angles, and you think you'd be out of range. He got some long arms. I don't know what his reach advantage is. He didn't seem to have a reach advantage when they put the tail of the tape before the fight. He didn't seem to have a reach advantage over Charlo, but he seemed like he had some long arms. It seemed like when he was out of range, when Charlo thought he was out of range, he was able to touch him with them straight right hands and the straight left hands at times. He was able to catch Charlo when Charlo, I think, thought he was out of range. And he was catching him with that sneaky left hook, too. But Charlo came to this fight with an aggressive mindset. He didn't really... He had times where he established the jab, but a lot of times he was ready to bang. He was looking to bang. I guess the pre-fight talk by Montiel saying he was going to knock out Charlo. Charlo said, I'm not having that. And then Charlo was looking for a spectacular, dominant performance in front of his home crowd. So he was in a seek and destroy type of mindset. And now I'm glad he did come in with that type of mindset. A lot of people are going to say, well, he's probably, because he came in overweight, and he probably was weight drained, so he had to fight a little bit more of a flat-footed fight instead of, moving around and basically fighting, using his footwork and stuff like that to box a guy from the outside. He had to fight that way due to him being weight drained. That's what a lot of people gonna say. I don't think that was the case. I think it was just a matter of him was on, you know, he wanted to put on a crowd pleasing performance. He wanted to knock this guy out and send everybody home happy who put it on for Jermall Charlo last night in Toyota Center. So we will see what happens and we will see what transpires. But as far as his next fight goes, man, he need to be looking at a matchup with Canelo if Canelo wins. They need to be pressing forward with that fight. If I'm Team Charlo, try to make that fight happen. Now, if Caleb Plant wins, obviously, you know, Canelo gonna have a rematch clause. You know, those guys that are cash cows of boxing, 8 sides, it don't matter nothing about no mandatories or undisputed, which don't lend itself to having a rematch clause. It's gonna be a rematch clause when you're fighting guys like that. AJ is the same way. No matter if you're voluntary or mandatory, he will have a rematch clause. That's the same thing with Canelo. So if Caleb Plant wins, that's gonna pretty much put Charlo out the picture for his next fight. So he would then look for a matchup, in my opinion, with the Luis Arias, who put on the best fight on the Mayweather-Paul card. That was a great fight between him and Jarrett Hurd. That was a good fight. You know, and the style of fight, the Luis Arias fight, man, they got to strike while the iron's hot. He need to be in there fighting a big fight for a world title in the next fight. And I think they can make that fight happen as he's with Mayweather Promotions. And he's up under Leonard Ellaby. Maybe they can make that fight happen as they got close ties with Al Heyman in the PBC. So we will see what happens and we will see what transpires. But a lot of people say that wasn't a great performance by him. A lot of people said if that version of Jermall Charlo shows up against Canelo, getting hit with those uppercuts and getting hit to the body. He got hurt to the body a couple of times in the fight with Montiel. He was able to hurt Charlo a couple of times to the body, and with that left hook, he caught him with that sneaky left hook. He was catching him with. He hurt Charlo at times with that punch. And a lot of people saying, shoot, you know, he getting hurt with that uppercut. What you think you're going to do with that uppercut that Canelo has, who has one of the best uppercuts in boxing? And you know, and Canelo is a great body puncher. He's not going to be the last with Canelo. A lot of Canelo fans will say that. So let's make the fight happen then. Canelo should be more looking to make that fight happen now that he's seen that performance. So hopefully if he defeats Caleb Plant, and that's a big if he defeats Caleb Plant, they make Canelo Charlo as early as December 2021, or maybe they take it on to the early part of 2022. So we will see what happens. We will see what transpires. But he definitely needs to be looking at a big fight coming up next, especially if Canelo wins. He needs to be pressed forward with that fight. If Canelo don't win, then he needs to be looking at an Andrade fight or Benavidez fight. But I think the Canelo fight don't come to fruition. I don't think he's going to fight Benavidez. As his trainer, Ronnie Shields, says that there's no point in fighting Benavidez and moving up to 168 if Benavidez don't have a belt. So I don't think they'll make that fight, despite what he said after the fight last night. I think they'll be looking to fight maybe Luis Arias. There's a name that I think will be linked to Jermall Charlo's fight if he can't get Canelo or Triple G. With Triple G fight is a pipe dream. That fight ain't happening. Triple G is getting ready to fight Murata at the end of the year. He's going to fight a tune-up and then Murata. Then he's going to continue to chase a third Canelo fight. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But Jermall Charlo successfully defends his WBC title and maintains a major belt in the middleweight divisions, along with Demetrius Andrade, who holds the WBO version of the middleweight title, and along with who holds the WBA title? I can't even remember, man. It's so many. I know the regular WBA titles were by Ryan Murata, and I think Triple G actually owns the IBF middleweight title, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know who holds the WBA title. I don't know if it's, I don't know. Maybe it is Triple G. I know he's holding one of those 4 too. You got 3 champions that, you know, really matters. You know, you got Andrade, you got Charlo, and you got Triple G. And none of those guys have mixed it up in the middleweight division. You know, and that's a damn shame. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But at least Triple G is going to fight Murata, so you got 2 champions, even though I think that belt that Murata got is a regular version. That's not the super WA version. He does have a belt. So they're going to mix it up December 31st of 2020, a day before, December 31st of 2021, a day before the year 2022 going down in January. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. Let me know your thoughts about Jermall Charlo's performance. Do you give it an A, B, C, D, or F? I give it a B-. I think he did what he had to do, man, fighting the Warrior and Juan Montiel, who put on a beautiful performance, a better performance than not anybody anticipated him going into this fight. Everybody thought he was food for Jermall Charlo, but he came to the party, and he came to to wreck the party. Basically, he came as a person that was going to be a party crasher. Crash the party that Jermall Charlo was throwing in his hometown, H-Town. And he was able to basically get himself lined up with a big fight afterwards, this loss. After this loss, he's going to get another big fight with Al Heyman in the PBC. Best believe that. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But let me know your thoughts about Jermall Charlo's performance, and hit the like button if you like the content of this video, and subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. And I holla.